Hi and hello, good morning to one and all. I welcome to this session on AD analysis. This is, of course, the part 4 of my presentation. Here in this presentation, we are going to discuss about the second step of AD analysis, which is called define the problem. In define the problem, the objective of the second step is to define the extent of the problem and its effects in quantifiable terms, resulting in the narrower focus for containment and root cause findings effort. Here we are going to use different types of supporting concepts and methods: 5W2H, his or his not analysis, and check sheets, Pareto diagrams, and control charts. Any one of the method will definitely give the result or define the problem. A quote from Charles Kettering: a problem well stated is a problem of solved. So whenever you state the problem in a right direction or in a righter way, then half of the problem will be solved. Rarely will a problem description be complete or final at the beginning of the AD process. Problem cannot be completely described until it is well understood. So problem description should be revised and updated to incorporate new facts or data. Quantify the gap between what is and what should be. And of course, for defining this problem, we have to use the supporting tools like 5W2H for customer complaint and data collection. Of course, this data collection may be in different forms. Say for example, flow diagram, collect data, attribute and variable data, stratify check sheets and Paretos, and statistical data, SPC, CPK, etc. Comparative analysis, is or is not table, and table of known facts, and formulate problem statement which includes benchmark, incorporate all important facts, and concise and precise. So basically, whenever the customer complaint occurs, describe the symptoms experienced by the customer in the terms and ensure the complaint is clearly and fully understood. And we can ask direct customer contact, ask clarifying questions, and customer representatives may be on the team. Understand the problem from the customer's viewpoint. Let us discuss one by one the different tools used for defining the problem. Under that, number one is 5W2H. Characterize the problem for further analysis through this type of 5W2H, which is nothing but who, what, where, when, and why. Okay, so in who, identify who is associated with the problem, which customers are complaining, which internal groups are complaining. And then next is what. Describe the problem adequately. What is the defect and the gap from the target? What part or object is involved? Does the severity of the problem vary? Such things you can ask from what. And where. If the defect occurs on the part, where is the defect located? Use a location check sheet. Where was the defect found geographically? And what is the geographic distribution of complaints? And next is when. In when, identify the time when the problem started and the past history, called the trends, and do all production shifts experience the same frequencies? What time of the year does the problem occur? When did the non-conformance occur? What was operating time? What shift? What reason? All those things you should analyze. And why. Define why this is the problem for the customers or organization. Translates how big into the total business impact. So we have to analyze the 2H also along with 5W. What are those 2H? how and how big. In first, how, in what mode of operation was the problem discovered? What procedures were being used? What environmental conditions were present? And how big the problem is? Quantify the extent and severity of the problem. Quantify or percent cost in terms of DPPM, etc. And the third tool is or is not tool. Search is the option, of course. Search for a comparative basis, act like a detective, include similar parts or situation, put boundaries around the problem to narrow the search for a root cause. Ask numerous questions and gather as much data as possible to establish the facts of the problem. Of course, you know what is root cause analysis or fishbone diagram or Ishikawa diagram, and no, all those things can be used on searching process or defining the problem. And who is experiencing the problem? Where was the discrepancy observed? Where or the part is the defect? When was the issue observed? How many bad parts are in the system? And who could be experiencing the problem but is not? And where could the issue have been observed but was not? Where on the part could the defect be but is not? When could the issue have been observed but was not? How many bad parts could be in the system but are not? So this is the format for is or is not tool and the questions which I given for an example. And say for example, is or is not tool can be continued like making a table and identify the facts discovered in the search. Say for example, he is in his part, what is the object is the with the defects, and is not what could be but is not the object with the defect. Let's info on and finding out the solution. I'll give one more example for that. What is the defect? And in is not side you can ask what could be but is not the defect. Okay. And one more example is where is the object with the defects observed? And in is not part, where could be the object with the defects be observed but is not? And these are all the way in which you can ask many questions. And example 5W and 2H, and you can get a solution for that. And identify the differences. Ask questions to understand what is difference between the is and is not conditions. Help us to focus the thoughts towards the specific problem area and avoids trying to boil the ocean by making problems scope more manageable. And important but often overlooked step in process. Ask what changed. No changes, no new problems. So problems appear because something has changed. The search for the root cause is a search for changes. Ask what changes have occurred. What changes have occurred in the plant? What new suppliers are being used? Have any new operators been hired? Has new material has been used? A new batch? Is the process capability the same as usual? Was the weather unusual when the problem occurred? So these are all some of the questions you can ask yourself when defining the problem. And of course I told the is or is not worksheet can be used. I'll give for some example for that. The chart goes like this. His problem with his or is not differences, changes, and finally get information on the changes. Say for example, first who is the defined statement. In his, what customer is impacted, or is not, what customer are not impacted, and any differences you can note down, changes, and then get the information. Likewise, what object, what defects, and where, whether geographically it has happened on the spot or the happening maybe in the outside, and first seen, when it has been seen, and when else seen, when seen in process or life cycle, why, of course, impact of problem, how, operating mode or environment, how big, total count or area or percentage, count per unit or tons. So this type of questions you can is an example may be modified for each specific problem also. And then specific category of each question is less important than getting the information itself, and table can be expanded to include other facts or test results as they are learned or which is needed for defining the problem. So developing problem statement. The problem statement is the expression of the difference between what should have happened and what should actually happened. It includes the baseline or benchmark for good performance and contains references to one problem only. Each problem is unique and need to be clearly understood in order to be solved, and should include information from all the 5W2H sections. And some of the common pitfalls you can observe when defining the problem. Problem statement is too general, lack details and specifies or specifications. A general problem is difficult to solve correctly. So whenever you define the problem, you should specify what is the exact problem for solving. And problem statement describes a root cause instead of problem effects. Don't let into a root cause debate at step 2 what we discussed, and it's determining the root cause and for clear describing the problem to be solved and quantifying the effects of downstream users or the customers. Embedding a solution in the problem statement. When we can embed a solution into the problem statement, whenever the further steps are needed for correction or corrective actions to be taken. And don't forget, don't get locked into a decision before all facts are known. You have to identify all the facts. And problem statement with embedded solution. What will happen? Revise order processing procedures to remedy recent delays in processing customer orders. And revised problem statement is frequent delays and errors in processing orders for all customers during the last 2 months. How could this statement be improved further? So this is an no common pitfall for giving the solution. So I hope that some of the concept which we discussed today will be understood by you, and we will see the step 3 process in next session, that is called implement containment actions. So likewise, if you have any queries, you can contact me. My email ID is jaiganeshresearch@gmail.com, and you can also WhatsApp me at 9443278181. Thanks for watching, and subscribe my channel for further steps to follow. Thank you.